This is an important topic, absolutely. And for me, it was really about healing. Like, how do I heal myself from this? Because I'm only 41. I don't want my sex life ruined forever, right?
Did you push record?
Thank you so much for tuning into our second act with Paige and Silka. Today we continue our discussion on taking charge of your sexual health, and I'm so happy to welcome a new expert to the program, Bonnie Gayle, the founder of Sex Butter and Boudoir Butter. Bonnie, welcome to Second Act TV.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Sylvia. I'm excited about this.
I'm super excited about this. You know, when we met and we had, our pre-pro discussion, you speak to, like the number one topic that we cover here, which is sexual health after 50 and all the issues associated with menopause and how that can destroy somebody's life. I mean, you have your own story, and let's start there. Let's start where, how did you get where you are today, and then develop these great products that we're going to talk about later.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you, and you know what? When you said destroy your life, you weren't kidding. So I was very young when I went into menopause compared to most people. I was 41 years old. And so at the time, the biggest symptom that I had was vaginal pain and dryness. And that happened whether I was walking around every day or whether I was sexually active. And so I was asking everybody I knew, like, what's going on? Like, have you ever experienced this? Nobody understood or related to anything I was talking about, but I happened to be talking to people that were my age, and nobody was going through any stage of menopause. So I was really frustrated, and eventually went to the doctor and found out that I had vaginal atrophy, which then I later found out is very common for women in postmenopause, and I was like in shock. But I was in perimenopause at the time. So, basically the answer was to use lube and have sex more often. That's what I was told to do. And I was thinking to myself, I'm in such pain, I can't even imagine wanting to have sex right now.
I want to just add something right here, because what I'm so surprised at, the more we talk about this, obviously the more questions we get. I can't even tell you how many questions just this week I've had from all over the country about vaginal atrophy. Women do not know what's going on. And, yes, it's certainly not at 41, but even as we get older, they do not know. And so I'm just, for people listening, we're opening up discussions that need to be opened and not be embarrassed about. Let's remove the taboo.
Absolutely.
And Bonnie, you've done such a fabulous job with that. So let me let you continue.
So what I found out was, 65% of women in postmenopause are going to experience vaginal atrophy. So basically, this is an important topic. Absolutely. And for me, it was really about healing. Like, how do I heal myself from this? Because I'm only 41. I don't want my sex life ruined forever, right? So at the time, I was already kind of eating 50% organic. And you have to understand, this was 15 years ago. So today, a lot of people eat organic, but 15 years ago, it wasn't talked about as much. So I was already ingredient conscious. So now I started to go and look at lubes because the doctor's telling me to use lube, right? And I am in shock with the ingredients that are in these products, like ingredients that are cancer causing, like parabens. The main ingredient in antifreeze, propylene glycol. I'm like, seriously? There's no way. I can't do this. And so what I realized is, if I was going to use something, I needed to find something to create something for me that I could use that wouldn't make the matters worse.
Yeah.
And that's how I ended up meeting up with formulators and having a product created that today is known as Sex Butter. And literally, I worked with Sex Butter and a jade egg and healed my vaginal atrophy.
Well, and I want to talk about that more. And I do want to caution people that we're not trying to dispense medical advice here.
No, not at all.
This is very natural healing, utilizing organic products, ingredients, etc. And, we'll talk about that a little bit more. I do want to qualify or explain? So just so people understand what we mean by vaginal atrophy, it is a thinning of the vaginal lining, correct?
Absolutely. And then what happens is, so we have vaginal tissue behind that, and the vaginal walls, the tissue is very delicate. So without the protective lining, the tissue dries out, and then you have pain and tearing, and you can get lesions and all kinds of other things, and it's very painful. It's like a very raw experience. So you feel very inflamed and raw and like almost like prickly feeling. It's a very, very uncomfortable feeling.
I've described it like a knife going through you.
Yeah, yeah, like a searing. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like a burning, searing pain. And that's not fun for anybody.
No, no, it certainly isn't. And you said earlier, one of the advice pieces of advice that you received was to have more sex. And the reason that again I want to clarify is it's a use it or lose it proposition. More sex does end up healing it, but you can't have more sex if you're already all messed up. And this
Right.
is where your product comes in that I'm just, intrigued about. So tell us what Sex Butter does, how it works. I really want our viewers to understand that.
So the reason that I created Sex Butter is I wanted something that soothes vaginal and sexual pain, like for women that are experiencing that, because there really wasn't anything on the market for that purpose. And that's what I was experiencing. So it's all about soothing and healing. And the way that I did that is by working with a microbiologist and making sure that all of the ingredients that went into this were ingredients that hydrate, that are antifungal, antibacterial, that are moisturizing and can absorb into the skin without creating a pH balance that's off, because every part of your body has a different pH to keep it in check. And so you want to make sure that the pH vaginal stays in check, because that's what helps you fight off disease and infection and different kinds of things that you could be susceptible to easily otherwise.
Now, what I found really pleasurable or interesting or surprising at first, because you sent me a jar, is the mint. Tell us what somebody that is experiencing what you've described, this extreme vaginal dryness, atrophy, looking for something. How is mint different than what other products offer?
So what ends up happening, especially in menopause and vaginal atrophy, is a lot of times we've lost a lot. So what we've also lost is the nerve sensation. So why do we not have sexual desire anymore? Like sometimes when we get into menopause, we just don't even feel like getting in the mood. And so what I put in was a minty proprietary blend. It's not just mint. And it's a very, very small percentage of the product, just to inspire your body to like kind of wake you up down there. So you kind of feel yourself and you get into your body. And as we know for women, if you really want to reach climax, you have to get out of your head and into your body to do so, right? And so that was the idea. The inspiration is to allow a woman to literally relax into the pelvic region.
We're always searching for new products and answers to deal with this. We've done a lot on hormone replacement and how that helps you heal yourself and your body, etc. And as I said at the beginning of the segment, I'm just really excited to find you and what you've brought to the table here. I want to encourage everybody to find out more about this. I've provided links to all of Bonnie's information, including the Sex Butter and Boudoir butter, so you can read about it and try it for yourself. And Bonnie, we are coming to the end of our segment. What would you like to leave our viewers with in closing?
The most important thing is really to be your body's best advocate, especially for anything that you're putting on or inside your body. So whether it's lube or anything, even a vaginal moisturizer, check the ingredients and make sure that you're using something that doesn't have ingredients that will exacerbate the problem or make it worse.
Well, Bonnie, thanks so much for all the information, and we look forward to seeing you back on Our Second Act with Paige and Silka. See you soon. Thanks so much for joining us today. We hope that you found this information helpful. If you haven't already done so, please take just 1 second and subscribe to our channel. Buttons right over here. And for more information about taking charge of your sexual health, please visit our website, secondact.tv. Thank you.